Good evening, you're watching News 5 Sports and I'm Chris Wagner. Ed is on assignment. Today marks day one of the 2011 Johnny Hop Memorial Tournament in Hastings. Let's head out to Duncan Field for some American Legion baseball action, the fifth meeting between Hastings 5 Points and Grand Island Home Federal this year. We go to the top of the second with a single from Justin English, which would eventually lead to 2 runs crossing the plate, giving Home Federal a 4-0 lead. Take me out to the ball game, Dad. Moving to the bottom of the second inning, something you don't see very often, 4 strikeouts in 1 inning. After this pass ball, advancer Kyle Simons would retire the side. But his day wouldn't end as well as it started, as he gave up 4 runs in the bottom of the 7th, giving Hastings the big 6-5 win. Darren Dice knocked in the winning run for 5 points. Hastings will take the field later tonight against the Millard Sox. We'll have highlights of those at 10. Up until 2007, the tournament that bears the name Johnny Hop was simply a handful of American Legion games held a week before the league's postseason. But for the past 5 years, it's been used as a way to remember one of the greatest baseball players in the town's history. Johnny Hop was born July 18, 1916 in Hastings. After graduating from Hastings High School, the left-hander spent his 14 major league seasons with 6 different ball clubs. Hop's accomplishments read like a who's who of baseball greats: 4 World Series titles, 2 with the Cardinals, 2 with the Yankees, an All-Star appearance in 1946, and more than 1,200 hits, including 1 game with the Pittsburgh Pirates where he went 6 for 6 with 2 home runs. Other unique facts about Hop include being Mickey Mantle's first roommate when he started with the Yankees in 1951, and playing for the Boston Braves in Jackie Robinson's first game in 1947. The Nebraska High School Sports Hall of Famer left an indelible mark on the game of baseball. Hop died on June 1, 2003 in Scottsbluff. The outfielder and first baseman would have turned 95 a week from next Monday. And Jen, he wasn't the only athletically successful member of his family. His brother Harry Hippity Hop, I figured Texas Horned Frog, you like the hippity thing, played fullback in the 1941 Rose Bowl for the Huskers and was drafted later that year by the Detroit Lions.
Pretty interesting there. A lot of history in Hastings I didn't know about.
And those of you who couldn't see that, Joe Thompson pumping his fist for the Detroit Lions. So.
Of course he was. All right, thank you so much, Chris. Stay with us. We'll be right back with Operation Bookstorm.
Good evening, you're watching News 5 Sports and I'm Chris Wagner again. Ed is on assignment. We start tonight going to the 20th annual Mr. Basketball Tournament in Kearney, where Runza Going Vertical took on Denver Red Shield. Let's go to the UNK Health and Sports Center, where it's all about the hoops this weekend. Refs and shorts, gotta love that. We start with Going Vertical's Jordan Hyatt dishing to White Anderson for an easy 2. How about another assist, this time from Greg Schutz to Jacob Olmstead for 3. He finished with a team high 18 points. Ooh, young man, future Mr. Basketball looking on. First lesson, it's okay to steal. Denver's Roderick Bernstein says, thank you very much, and goes coast to coast for 2. Colin Murphy, patent pending. And how about some textbook passing? Jay Nelson finishes this sequence with a lay-in for the Red Shield, but the men in orange would prove too strong, winning 63-53. Runza plays again tomorrow at 4 p.m. against the Oklahoma Shock. Games run throughout the weekend. Emotional letdown or extra momentum? That was the question for the Hastings 5-point squad after they rallied to beat Grand Island Home Federal this afternoon 6-5 in the 7th inning of their Johnny Hop tournament game. Would that excitement carry over to the nightcap against the Millard Sox? Let's find out, shall we? And we head out to the ballpark. We start you tonight at the bottom of the 2nd inning with Millard leading 1-0. A pass ball will allow Ryan Bender to score for Hastings, tying things up at 1. And then Joseph Kindis is coming to the plate. He's going to drive in 2 runs, and he's going to make it 3-1, 5 points. There we go. And we've got a top of the 5th now. The Sox up, and a base hit will knock in 1 to make it 3-2. And another hit now will knock the game at 3 for the Millard Sox. They're staying in it. They're not going to want to go home with a loss. Bottom of the 5th now, Matt Overmiller gets the big RBI to make it 4-3 Hastings, and that will be your final score, 4-3, 5 points. A big win for Hastings, getting ready to go into their tournament next weekend, and they did have another win, as we said earlier, 6-5, scored 4 runs in the 7th inning. And while Johnny Hopp, we talked about him at 6, holds a special place in the hearts of baseball fans in Hastings, St. Paul is celebrating its own Diamond Hero this weekend. Grover Cleveland Alexander Days run through Sunday. Alexander is one of 5 native Nebraskans that have their bust in Cooperstown, New York, in the Baseball Hall of Fame. He was voted in 1938, the 3rd year of the Hall's existence, and he was indeed in a class all his own. He was the only one inducted that year. Former President Ronald Reagan played Alexander in the 1952 movie, The Winning Team. Moving on to college football, former Husker quarterback Cody Green sounds like he's got a list of schools to transfer to. They include former Big 12 foes Baylor and Kansas State, as well as Tulsa and the University of Southern California. The news out of Columbus, Ohio continues to get worse as the Ohio State football team is taking sanctions and vacating all of their wins from the 2010 season, including their share of the Big Ten championship and their 2011 Sugar Bowl win. The team is under investigation by the NCAA for selling memorabilia in exchange for tattoos and other services. As a result of the scandal, head coach Jim Tressel resigned and quarterback Terrell Pryor decided to leave school and enter the NFL supplemental draft. We'll see how that goes. The university has also put its football team on a 2-year probation. They did, however, waive the $250,000 fine they imposed on Tressel and changed his resignation to a retirement, whatever that means. Ohio State comes to Lincoln to play the Huskers October 8th. Former TCU coach Neil Doherty died after collapsing while jogging this week. He was 50 years old. Doherty coached at TCU from 2002 to 2008 and was an assistant under Roy Williams at Kansas. Well, that story was for resident Horned Frog Jennifer Berry. This next story is for former News 5 anchor and Cleveland native Katie Farrell. It was 1 year ago today that LeBron James announced during a 1-hour TV special that he would be taking his talents to South Beach to play for the Miami Heat. And Jen, I can remember that was a night that she did not enjoy, that's for sure. And one other little note to get to you, Derek Jeter and Alex Rodriguez both out of the Major League Baseball All-Star game. They decided to sit at home.
Really? Interesting. All right. Thank you so much, Chris, for all of that sports. Stay with us. A sport of its own coming up next.
But of course, watch for the storms because you don't want to be swimming when the storm rolls through.
Okay, I'm not done talking about food yet. Doug and Daddy hot dog eating contest.
Hot dog eating contest was today. More than 12 hot dogs for the winner. By the way, sound effect during that last story was Joe.
It was him. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here this weekend and Monday. Have a great weekend.
Ciao.